Mind blown. We are live once again. Oh my goodness. Dror, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I just listened to the preview of our upcoming webinar on ChatGPT, and it's going to be amazing. I know that because I saw the material. And I have to say, I'm giving a shout out to everyone who may be watching us live on this on that LinkedIn platform, maybe catching us somewhere else on the internet. And I'll tell you, I'm absolutely fascinated with how the world is catching up with AI. It's not like we didn't warn you. Anyone who ever saw some movies like, I don't know, 2001 Space Oddity, or whatever you want to call it, it was
I'm
certainly a
sorry.
heads up.
I'm sorry. I cannot do that.
Exactly, Dave. Yes. But the fun part is ChatGPT is nicer than that, and much more subtle too.
Yeah. ChatGPT is really nice. I mean, they put some pretty good controls on it. Bing, as you all know, went wild, completely wild, and started being aggressive and accusing the users. And eventually, Microsoft had to limit it. They limited it to 5 consecutive prompts, and that's it. Then it resets the session and loses all of the memory. So you can't trick it and you can't annoy it too much. And last week they announced that they increased it from 5 to 6, which is wonderful.
Wow. But let's talk about ChatGPT a little bit. So we know it's the fastest growing app in the history of the internet, that it got to 100 million, blah, blah, blah. It's all big. We know all that.
Yeah.
And the one thing about ChatGPT and my takeaway, as my mom used to tell me, is she used to always say, Jeff, it's not what you say, but it's the way you say it. And that's what I've learned with ChatGPT, and how you became this new type of engineer, because you know prompt engineering. And well, for those people tuning in who are curious about what they might learn on our upcoming webinar, and frankly, I'm just damn curious myself, what have you learned about the art of asking questions, particularly when you're talking to AI?
Yeah, so this art is indeed called prompt engineering. The question you ask or the query is a prompt, and you need to know how to structure that prompt. And basically, you need to give ChatGPT some context about what you are doing. You need to tell it what you are trying to do. Like, I'm organizing a birthday party, or I'm applying for a job, or I want to plan a trip abroad. You need to give it some context, and then it can help you in what you want to do. And then, after you provided the context, you need to provide the actual query, and you need to tell it what you want it to do in a very clear language, and it has to be something that's articulate. It can understand some slang words and stuff like that. It can even reply in that language if you want, but you have to be very clear about what you want, and you need to provide as much detail as possible so it can help you achieve the result that you want to achieve.
So how did you learn this? Like did you go to school for prompt engineering, or how did you pick up this skill?
No, there's no school yet, but I played with it for, I think, for the last 3 months, ever since it was released. It's amazing, to think of it, that it was released only 3 months ago, which is, really, really amazing. It's had such an impact in such a short time. But I played around with it, and I also follow a lot of people who use the tool and get amazing results. And I read a lot of examples. I've opened a group by myself that was called ChatGPT Examples. Now it's called AI Chatbots, which include ChatGPT and Bard and Claude and all of the others. And in this group, myself and others just throw in a lot of examples that we find, cool stuff, cool ways of using ChatGPT, and you can learn a lot from other prompts and understand how to do it. But the best way is to just go ahead and play with it. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy.
We are live, and I believe there are people watching us live. If you're watching us live on LinkedIn right now, we have a very opportune moment. If you have a certain question about ChatGPT you'd like to get answered, depending upon what the question that's being asked, we may be able to answer your question right now. Maybe.
Yeah, and if we don't know how to answer it, we'll just ask ChatGPT.
Exactly. And I think that's part of the magic too, is knowing when to ask, how to ask. And it's the one challenge I have with ChatGPT, frankly, is when I ask ChatGPT to tell me about me, while it's sometimes quite flattering, it's not always accurate. I had a moment where I had asked ChatGPT to say, I wrote that I was a fifth grader writing a book report about Jeff Pulver. Can you tell me about how do I write the book report? It gave me an outline. Then it gave a citation to a book referencing me that never was written. And it was just so flattering. And he couldn't even Google the author. The author did not see it seemed to be like a made-up book reference and a made-up book author. It's like, this is crazy. And so that's one issue I have is be flattered but verify. And I think if ChatGPT was a fiction writer, it'd have a really good job. But when we're looking for facts and factual information, there's a word that I learned last year called discernment. And learning discernment and applying discernment to the output of ChatGPT will keep you and perhaps others out of trouble. Rory asks, how can ChatGPT help with accounting? I'll show the question. How can ChatGPT help with accounting? Does it have any features, any extensions with Excel?
Yes, there is an actual. First of all, manually, you can ask it to write an Excel formula for whatever you want to achieve, and it will produce that formula because it knows Excel and it knows a lot of other tools and APIs and programming languages that you may want to use in your daily work. But there are also extensions that connect ChatGPT to Excel or to Google Sheets, where you can have it run inside one of your cells and automatically insert a formula. So while you are in Google Sheets, you can have ChatGPT running in a window on the side, and then you can ask it for the formulas, and then you can put it into the sheet. So we just got an answer to the question.
Yes.
And it seems that ChatGPT gave the same answer that we did on our own.
Well, it's good to know that we're as knowledgeable as ChatGPT. That's wonderful. Any other questions out there while we're live here? Feel free to submit your questions in the comments. If you're watching our preview after the live event, you could always ask questions in the comments. We might get back to you, but I'll tell you this. On Wednesday, March 1st, 2023, it's a historic event for me because in all my years of doing online activities, it's the first ever webinar that I've ever co-produced. And of all the people to be doing a webinar with, I'm so grateful to Dror for saying yes. And by the way, could you talk about how the hour startup that you did? I understand you're still getting noticed about that. The way ChatGPT helped you engineer a startup.
Yeah, this is a kind of a personal project I did about a month ago. And this morning, actually, I presented it at an event at Microsoft for startups. They had an event on generative AI for startups, and they asked me to present this project that I did. And I was really surprised that still today, a month after I did the project, people are still amazed by what ChatGPT can do. And I did this a month ago, and I'm amazed by the fact that people are amazed, because for me it was natural. After playing with it for a few weeks, I said, okay, it can produce all types of documents. So let's go through the whole cycle that the startup founder would go through when building its startup. So initially I started without pretending not to have any knowledge of startups. So I asked ChatGPT, how do you build a startup? So ChatGPT said, okay, first you need an idea. Then you need a business model. Then you can create a presentation and get some money from investors. Then you start recruiting your people, your employees for the startup. And then you build the product and you build the marketing channels and the sales channels. And then you build your website, and you do the marketing, and you do the sales, and finally you can get to the exit. You can IPO or sell to another company. That's the life cycle of a startup. I said, okay, that's great. Let's start from step number one. Give me an idea for a startup. I don't have any idea.
Oh, so ChatGPT shared with you an idea for a startup on its own.
Shared with me dozens of ideas for startups, and I asked it, give me more, give me better ideas, give me ideas that have a better chance of reaching significant revenues. The interesting thing is, as I did this, it came up with more and more startups that are based on generative AI.
Of course, slight bias, perhaps a little bit of bias
by ChatGPT. And then I picked one of these ideas, which was a SaaS, a software as a service that automatically analyzes legal documents. I said, okay, so prepare an investor presentation. It prepared all the text for a slide deck. It can also give you descriptions of images you can use to accompany that slide, and you can just search for those images on Google or create a prompt to generate those images in DALL-E or any other generative AI tool. And after the investor presentation, I asked it to come up with a plan for doing the development, the R&D plan and the marketing plan. And then I said, okay, what would be an org structure, an organizational structure for this startup? And then give me job descriptions for each one of the people of the startup, each one of the executives first, and then the employees. And then I said, okay, I have a job description. I can invite people for an interview. Give me the interview questions for each one of those roles.
Wait, so I gave you the job descriptions and the interview questions. And what about questions? Now, did you use ChatGPT to help you screen potential applicants?
Yeah, I even did that. Yes. For example, for the CTO role.
Of course you did. Okay.
I got a job description. I went to LinkedIn. I took some CVs, resumes of people on LinkedIn that are CTOs for machine learning companies, and I just pasted it into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT, is this candidate right for the job? And he said, well, he does have a lot of experience in machine learning, but more in finance and less in legal. Invite him for an interview, ask the questions, and see if he fits. And then I asked about compensation for that role and benefits on top of the compensation, et cetera, et cetera. I was really amazed when I asked it to do a detailed product specification. And then I dove into more details of one of the functions and told it, okay, write code for that function.
Write code.
Python code for implementing part of the product. Ha. Now, I didn't tell it anything about legal, about document, anything. But that code was looking inside the legal documents for words like shall, should, and will, whatever terms there are, and classifying those paragraphs of the document based on these words. It seems that these words have legal implications. And ChatGPT knew about it, and it wrote the code itself. So that was really amazing. Of course, all of the website, it wrote all of the website content and blog posts and LinkedIn and Twitter.
I just have to ask, did ChatGPT ever suggest that you resign as chairman and it should take over as chairman of the company?
No, it's pretty passive in that role, but and it would, of course, as an answer in its typical way, as an AI model, I would never take over as chairman. But since you asked what a chairman would do, these are my suggestions, et cetera. And finally, I said, okay, who can I sell the company to? And it gave me a list of acquirers. And I asked it for an M&A contract with one of the acquirers. And that was it. From no idea to exit in 1 hour, I copied everything into a Google Doc, which is 67 pages. And I open sourced it. So you can find it on my LinkedIn profile. And this is kind of a toolbox. It's a toolbox for startup founders, for entrepreneurs, and it is showing them the potential of using ChatGPT in every stage of the startup life cycle. So that was really cool. What we're going to do on Wednesday is show examples of how it can be used not only for startups, but for other companies, even for small, medium businesses that want to expand into new fields or are looking for original ways to market themselves. ChatGPT can answer any of these questions.
And also some personal stuff, right? You also we're going to show some business and personal, so that how ChatGPT can help contribute to a better life, to a better life.
life. Yes, it's like you said, it's like your personal companion, and you can ask it anything. It has like this big sign, "Ask me anything." You can really ask it anything, and do it. That's my main advice. Just go and explore and experiment with it, and try to use it. And the more you use it, the more value you will get out of it. Of course, taking into the account those words of caution that sometimes it hallucinates, sometimes it gives you
You're being polite. It's like WTF? Oh my God, really? No. Sorry. Then of course it backs up because it says, "Oh yes, Jeff Pulver was not the founder of blah blah blah." I realize that now. So then it will recast the bio, but it's like, okay, but you have to. So when you ask for facts, occasionally challenge what's being told, what you're being told. It's just fascinating. But a year from now, I believe there will be a chatbot like ChatGPT that might give us citations, where when facts are given, it may give us like a a searchable index of answers, or at least where the facts came from.
But Bing is already doing it. If you have early access to that chatbot, then Bing is already connected to the internet and giving you.
When ChatGPT made reference to a book that I was in, I actually went to books.google.com, which people may not even be aware of. It exists. There's a search engine for books that also ties back to news articles. I typed in my name, and what I was actually blown away by was a lot of other people did reference me in their books, but this particular book that was being referenced by ChatGPT does not exist. And so it's like, okay, whatever. But I was like, this is good stuff. So, all right. So we're going to be live in the webinar on March 1st. It will be available on demand to those people who sign up for it. And I'm so looking forward to listening to the conversation, contributing to, and if there were professors of prompting, you are the professor, the number one.
Thank you very much. We'll prompt away. Definitely.
Yes, and please, if you're watching this, please share this with your friends. If you want to get a head start on and leveraging ChatGPT for a better life, to gain your superpowers, join us on March 1st. It's going to be an enlightening hour, actually 75 minutes, and we will do Q&A toward the end of the event. You can pop in your questions during the webinar, and we'll be answering as best as we can. So thanks for tuning in now, and we'll see you real soon. We're just going to say goodbye for now. And Dror, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
See you Wednesday.